Hi y'all, I'm Isabella. I'm a tour guide here on campus, and we're currently doing Instagram Live. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about a campus overview, as well as our Quarry Plaza where we're standing right now. So I am a third-year biology major here at UCSC. I'm also a Cruz college affiliate. If you want to know a little bit more about our college affiliations and all the different colleges that we have here on our campus, you can go ahead and check out some of our other Instagram Lives that we're going to be hosting throughout this month. Here on campus, I'm involved in a couple of things besides being a tour guide. I'm involved in my own residential college. I'm actually an orientation leader for them. I'm also part of Cruz Parliament, which is our student government. And I am also a part of Pre-Veterinary Club as well as UCSC Women's Club Soccer. And I am an officer for 2 of those clubs as well. So if you have any questions in regards to clubs, in regards to getting involved on campus, I'm more than happy to answer them. And during my free time, I've recently taken up crocheting. I also really enjoy going to the beach, as well as going to the dog park and meeting a lot of dogs.
Awesome.
Yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about our campus overview. So since our founding in 1965, UC Santa Cruz has always been different by design. We have over 2,000 acres of redwood forest, views of the Monterey Bay, as well as open meadows. And these beautiful surroundings are only half of the story. Our campus works hard to continue continue on with our social and environmental impacts through our dedicated student body and faculty. And this is done in a safe, collaborative, and diverse environment. And this tour is all about talking about how we support, cultivate, and graduate students just like yourself as well. We also have a couple of slug facts that we like to go over at each portion of the tour, so I'm going to say a couple of those right now. So they'll sound a little bit like this. UC Santa Cruz has an acceptance rate for... UC Santa Cruz has 65.3% for incoming freshmen. We also have an acceptance rate of 64% for transfers as well.
How far is the campus from the boardwalk?
How far is the It's not too long of a bus ride away. I think it's about a 20-minute bus ride from the campus to our boardwalk. In approximate of miles, I would say about 3-ish miles or so from our campus to our boardwalk, and about a 20-ish minute bus ride as well. And then another fact about our campus is that 45% of the land is actually underdeveloped on, which means a lot of the land is natural habitat for wildlife. So you do see a lot of wildlife roaming around here on campus as well. UC Santa Cruz is also voted one of the 23 most beautiful universities in the world by Forbes magazine as well. And
lots of hearts for that.
Yes, it is a really beautiful campus. Our mascot is also Sammy the Banana Slug, and when it rains, oftentimes you can find him right here on campus, all over the place.
Lots of hearts for Sammy.
Yes, we love Sammy.
How many years of housing are guaranteed?
So, back to this soon. Freshmen get a 2-year housing guarantee, transfers get a 1-year housing guarantee, and EOP students get a 3-year housing guarantee.
Nice. All right. We can answer some more questions.
Yeah, we can pause here for a little bit.
Will housing be open
again in the winter? And housing is open right now. Currently we're offering singles, doubles, and triples. Right now, the only types of housing that we aren't offering in terms of dorm configuration is quads and quints.
What is an EOP student?
An EOP stands for Educational Outreach Program, and this is basically for students who are first-generation college students or come from I'm trying to think.
Underprivileged?
Yeah, underprivileged background as well. There's a specific term for it. But usually it is first generation college students as well. And you can actually go and look up EOP UCSC, and you'll be able to find a description of what exactly qualifies students to be EOP students at UCSC.
Is there a police or security escort in the evenings for students to walk the campus at night?
Yes. So if you ever feel unsafe or anything, We have about 60 blue lights here on our campus that students have access to. And these blue lights, you're able to press a button and it connects you directly to our on-site police and fire department. And they actually have an average response time of 3 minutes. So students are able to talk to them if they needed an escort home or anything like that. They're always able to touch that button and someone will come and basically walk them home. We also have other things such as our night bus, and our night bus is basically something that will drop students off as close as possible to their end destination. We also have CSO officers, community safety officers, and these officers patrol campus from 7 p.m. till 3 a.m. And if you see any of them around on campus and you would like them to walk home with you, you can always ask them.
This is pretty specific. What is the average GPA for transfer admission?
I'm not completely sure on the average GPA for transfer admission.
You can find it on the website.
But you can always look up statistics, and I know that we do have those statistics as well. You can look up average GPA for incoming transfers, and you're able to find the average GPA of incoming transfers that were accepted / enrolled into UCSC this year.
What types of volunteer opportunities are open to students?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of volunteer opportunities open to students. I do know that we actually have a class that covers a GE requirement where students are able to pick their own volunteering opportunity here in Santa Cruz. And I know someone who's volunteered at the food like pantry before, and like the soup kitchen as well. So there are a lot of volunteering opportunities. Students can always find out more about volunteering opportunities through our career center as well, since they do have a really large database with both job opportunities, internship opportunities, and volunteering opportunities as well.
Nice. I think we're good.
Yeah.
For a minute. Where are we now?
Yeah, so currently we are in our Quarry Plaza, and I can go ahead and talk a little bit more about our Quarry Plaza before we continue on and answer more questions as well. So our Quarry Plaza is basically our central hub of campus. You can usually come to our Quarry Plaza and find a lot of people here. However, right now it is a Friday, so there isn't as much activity happening. But our Quarry Plaza is your go-to area for basically tabling events, meeting up with friends, or getting snacks from coffee to ramen noodles. So basically here at our Quarry Plaza, we'll start over here. We have our Disability Resource Center. We also have our Ethnic Resource Center as well, located here in our quarry. And then over here we have our Express Store, which is basically like our on-campus 7-Eleven, is what I basically like to call it. And then right down there we have our Bay Tree Bookstore. Our Bay Tree Bookstore is where you can go to get all of your slug gear, anything that you need. If you want Sammy the Slug slippers, we have those. You would go to the second floor of the Bay Tree Bookstore to get a new one as well. You can also purchase supplies and books for classes through our Bay Tree Bookstore. And then right on up here we have our bike co-op, and we also have E Squared, which is basically our educational retention program. They only pay for the cost of parts and not for the cost of labor. So the bike co-op is a really great resource for students to use as well. And then over here we have SOAR/SUA, our Student Union Assembly. SOAR is basically, it supports our 150 student organizations that we have here on campus. And we do have a lot of student organizations/clubs. Some of them include our a cappella singing. We also have video gaming, and we have religious groups as well. You're able to find on our websites as well. And our SUA is another one of our student governments. This is our campus-wide student government, while each residential college does have its own student government. Each residential college has a representative who goes to SUA. So each person has their own SUA representative, and SUA is the campus-wide student government. So they decide more prevailing topics that are going to affect the campus as a whole. We can't see it right now, but our ever-loved Cafe Aveda. And Cafe Aveda, this is also really important. It's the only place that sells boba here on campus. So if you really enjoy boba, if you enjoy coffee, Cafe Aveda is a really great place to go as well. And then all the way down there, also past this rock and past Cafe Aveda, we also have our Quarry Amphitheater. It has 2,300 person seat capacity, and basically this is where we host live concerts and gatherings, and it is really pretty. It is this natural just quarry and it is a really pretty place just to see and sit and go and attend events at as well.
What's happening there this weekend?
This weekend, there's actually going to be a silent disco at our Quarry Amphitheater. So for those of you who are already enrolled in UCSC, this is a great opportunity to go and meet new people, have a little bit of fun, and dance a little bit.
Are there bus routes or anything to take you out of Santa Cruz?
Yes, there are bus routes that take you out of Santa Cruz. So we do have metro buses that come up onto campus, and these metro buses all meet at other locations as well, and it doesn't just have to be San Jose. You can go to Capitola, you can go to Aptos, basically anywhere from that Santa Cruz Metro Center.
Awesome. I think we're caught up. Do you want to introduce yourself again?
Yeah, I can reintroduce myself. So for those of you who are just joining right now, I'm a third-year biology major here at UCSC, as well as a Kresge College affiliate. Here on campus, I'm involved in a couple of things. I am involved in a pre-veterinary club, as well as UCSC. So if you have any questions in regards to getting involved, joining clubs, I'm more than happy to answer those questions as well.
Paige is here. Paige says she's missing her guides.
Perfect!
Will housing be open again in the winter?
Yes, housing will be open again in the winter.
I want to apply. I'd like to know about the dorm and housing costs.
Dorm and housing costs, you're able to actually find those online. UCSC, you should be able to find basically all of the prices listed out as well. And there are different pricings for singles, doubles, triples, and quads. So there's different pricing, and there's different pricings for apartments as well. And the apartments are for continuing students, or if you live in Kresge College has all apartments. So freshmen are also able to live in apartments in Kresge College. However, it is the only residential college where freshmen are actually able to live in apartments. But you're able to find those housing costs online as well.
Paige says you're killing it. Is there a limit on how many clubs we can join?
There is not a limit on how many clubs you can join. You can join as many clubs as you want, as long as you know what you have the time for and you're able to fit it into your schedule. You're able to do it. If you want to join 10 clubs and you're able to manage that, by all means, join 10 clubs and have fun with it. Like, especially if they're in topics that you enjoy and you like to do and you like to participate in.
What if I want to join a club that doesn't exist?
You can create your own club, actually. So basically, students have the opportunity to create their own clubs through through SOAR, and they're able to go and basically say like, hey, I want to create a club and I want this club to be about this, and then they're able to basically help you out and put you in the right direction of creating that club and and getting new members to join you as well. We actually do have a tour guide who has created her own club here at UCSC as well. So it is something that happens quite often, and if you can't find something that you enjoy and want to do and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish they had this club here, but they don't, you're able to create it yourself.
What does walking to class look like?
Walking to class kind of looks like this. You have a bunch of trees everywhere. It is really pretty and really nice. It's really cool to be surrounded by all these trees that are so much taller than you, and I think it's really beautiful and especially like very scenic to walk to class. It's nice to go and take a final, take a midterm, and then get out of class and be surrounded by nature and forest. It is definitely a huge de-stress after you've been so stressed out about taking a final, taking a midterm, or even going into it. It is really nice to have that little walk.
Are there any job opportunities for students?
There are several job opportunities here for students. So if you want to make money here on campus, you would just go to the Career Center, especially if you don't know exactly where to start. The Career Center has a database of several jobs, as well as offering mock interviews. They're able to review your resume, and you don't necessarily have to go to them just for jobs. They also have a large internship database as well. So if you want to make money, if you want assistance in getting a job or finding a job, the Career Center is definitely the place to go to as well.
Are there any abroad programs?
There are several abroad programs here at UCSC. I actually have a friend who is currently abroad until winter quarter. So she's currently abroad and she's participating in an abroad program. I have some other friends who have gone to Brazil and Spain Italy. So we do have several choices and several programs for students to choose from. I think I can't remember the exact number of countries. I think it's about 20 different countries that students are able to go to, as well as we have, I think, over 100 different programs that students are able to participate in for study abroad as well. So there are definitely several opportunities for students to take advantage of in studying abroad.
Are there still any COVID restrictions on campus?
There are still COVID restrictions. We are still maintaining social distancing.
Hold on. Okay, we're back.
Sorry, y'all. We had a little bit of a technical issue since it is a very hot day today here at UCSC. The phone got a little too hot and it needed to cool off for a second.
Yeah, okay. So we'll hop back into some questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food here is probably the tofu scramble that we have at the dining halls in the morning. I am not vegan or vegetarian, but I will say that the tofu scramble is really good. And I say that especially as a person who doesn't really enjoy vegetables as much as probably everyone else. But I do really enjoy the tofu scramble as well.
Lots of hearts on that. How many times can you go into the dining hall in one day?
You're able to go in and out of the dining hall as many times in a day as you please. If you want to go in and go out 30 times in one day, you can. If you want to go in and just grab some coffee, drink some coffee, get your caffeine in before going to class, you can do that as well. So basically, you can swipe in and swipe out.
Can you rate each dining hall?
Can I rate each dining hall? This, and I actually lived in Cruz College, so I usually cooked for myself since I did meals, since Slug Club meals are basically meals that you purchase in the beginning of the quarter to use later on throughout the quarter. Slug Club meals are really great, especially if you have finals coming up or midterms coming up and you just need to get in and out of the dining hall really quickly and you don't have time to cook for yourself. I highly recommend Slug Club meals for like those instances. So I have been to the dining hall every now and then with friends or like when I had finals. Probably I really enjoyed Rachel Carson dining hall. However, right now it is currently under construction.
Follow up, when will Rachel Carson dining hall be ready?
Rachel Carson dining hall 2022. So another year from now, unfortunately. But I will say probably one of my favorite ones was Rachel Carson or 9 and 10.
Any off-campus co-op housing?
I think we don't have any off-campus co-op housing through the school. However, students are able to utilize different things such as Facebook, as Craigslist, and we also have a housing database that you can join through the school and when you're looking for off-campus housing. So I'm sure you'd be able to find some which dining halls will be open during Thanksgiving break as well as their hours for that week.
What would you say is the typical weather at UC Santa Cruz?
Definitely not this. So right now it is a much hotter day than during our fall quarter. We're used to seeing weather more in the lower 70s / mid 70s, not so high 70s. And then during winter quarter, it does get much colder and rainier as well. I'm from Southern California, so I think anything below 70 degrees is cold, which is not true. However, for me, it's cold. So if you're from Southern California and you also think anything under 70 degrees is cold, then you would find this campus rather cold for a large portion of the year. I definitely walk around with a blanket on me and stuff, just going to class, especially when it gets like under 70. But during the winter quarters, it does get really rainy. We do highly recommend bringing a pair of good rain shoes and an umbrella. Those are two things that are really important because you don't want to sit through lecture with soggy, wet socks.
How long is the move-in period?
The move-in period, usually we have about a week for move-in. This year's move-in, I think it went from the 16th until the 18th or so. So it was a couple of days move-in. It might have been until the 19th actually. The 16th until the 19th, I'm pretty sure, was this year's move-in. However, students who get on-campus jobs or become student leaders do have the opportunity to move onto campus early. So it just kind of depends if you're going to be working on campus or if you're going to be getting a job as a student leader. So that definitely impacts how early you move in.
think we have any other. How about, is there a gym?
There is a gym here on campus. So it is also known as our Wellness Center. It is located at East Field, which is located relatively close to where we are now, as well as close to both Powell and Stevenson College. So it's located at our East Field, and that's where our gym is. It's also known as the Wellness Center, and you're actually able to rent equipment through them as well. So if you're gonna come up and you really enjoy camping, for example, but you don't want to bring all of your camping gear and store them in your dorm, you're actually able to rent camping equipment from our Wellness Center / gym as well, or even you're able to rent soccer balls, tennis rackets, tennis balls, anything like that, so that you're able to utilize all the facilities that we have here on campus.
Can we get jobs and involved before we move in?
You're able to get jobs and get involved before you move in. Usually students join clubs after they move in, since we do have something called Cornucopia. And Cornucopia is basically this on-campus event where all of the clubs go and they do tabling. So you're able to meet all the clubs and get to know like what different clubs that we have here, especially since we have so many student organizations. So Cornucopia is a great place for students to get involved, figure out which clubs they want to join and what appears to be interesting. You are able to get a job, however, because on our ER system. So if you look up ER UCSC, you'll be able to find our ER system that has a list of all of our available on-campus jobs.
Is there a fee to work out in the pool, or is it under reservation?
There is just under reservation, so you just have to reserve a lane ahead of time.
Are there trails on campus for hiking and stuff?
There are several trails on campus for hiking. Upper campus is a very popular space for students to go hiking, since it is more covered and there are a lot of trees, but there are so many trails to go hiking on campus. I remember my freshman year, I used to see people popping out of the forest with backpacks and stuff, because there's a bunch of shortcuts as well through the forest that students take in order to get to class. So we have many shortcuts, many hiking trails, just many little excursions off the beaten path as well. So we do have many options for students who enjoy hiking and enjoy going outdoors. And if you're not a huge fan of hiking and not a huge fan of outdoors, I will say that UC Santa Cruz has turned me from being not that big of a fan of going on hikes or anything into someone who absolutely loves going on hikes and going into the forest and going on long walks. So it definitely does change people, and I do know a couple of other tour guides who have gone through something similar as well, where now they absolutely love going on hiking and being outdoors.
We answered this question before, but we have some new folks. Where can students eat on campus during Thanksgiving break?
Yeah, so students during Thanksgiving break, college's 9 and 10 dining hall is most likely going to be the dining hall that's open. You can also find hours for all of our other dining halls / what is going to be open during that time period online through our UCSC dining.
Okay. I think we're caught up on questions. How is the heating, air conditioning in the dorms?
So there is no air conditioning in the dorms here in Santa Cruz. Most houses actually don't have air conditioning as well here in Santa Cruz. However, it is a lot cooler here in Santa Cruz compared to other places, for example, in Southern California, where I used to live used to get up to like 100 degrees and stuff, like basically just very, very hot to the point where you need air conditioning. However, here, most of the time, you don't actually need air conditioning. You just open up a window and the room cools down pretty well. For heating, the dorms do have heating for when it gets cold, so all the dorms do have a heater that you're able to adjust.
Excellent. All right, we're caught up. Anything else on the overview of campus you want to share? Is there anything you would recommend for new move-ins not to bring?
For new movies not to bring. Let me think of what I brought that I didn't. My freshman year, I brought maybe too many shoes. When I first moved in, I thought I was gonna wear them all, when in reality, when it got cold and rainy, I used to only wear my boots out to go and walk around. But for the most part, all I needed was a pair of like good walking shoes, boots, running shoes, and a pair of flip-flops. So just look and evaluate what you're bringing and try not to bring like too much stuff to overload your closet, because that was definitely my issue my freshman year. Is I thought that I was gonna use all these different clothing items and like all these different shoes, and I did not.
Yeah.
So definitely just evaluate for yourself what you think you should bring and what you shouldn't bring.
We've got some new folks. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can reintroduce myself for all of the newcomers that we have here today. So I'm Isabella. I'm a tour guide here at UCSC. I am also a Cruz College affiliate and a third-year biology student as well. So if you have any questions in regards to STEM or the biology program or even our residential colleges, more than happy to answer those as well. And I'm involved in a couple of things here at UCSC. I am an orientation leader for Cruz College. I'm also an officer for Cruz Parliament, as well as an officer for UCSC Women's Club Soccer. I am also a part of Pre-Veterinary Club here at UCSC as well. And during my free time, I enjoy both crocheting and going to the beach.
Fantastic. Got some hellos. Hi, Irma. Irma works in our office in admissions.
I can go ahead and say also why I chose UCSC.
Yeah.
It's always a good one. So I chose UCSC because I wanted to go to a university that wasn't too close to home, but also not too far away from home. And I said it before, but I am from Southern California, so this was just kind of the perfect distance for me. I also wanted to go to a university where I could get involved in research during my undergraduate time. And UCSC was definitely a place where I could get involved in research during my undergraduate degree, especially since it looks really good on veterinary application. So that's one of the really big reasons why I wanted to go to a university that would allow me to do research during my undergraduate.
Have you participated in research? Can you talk about?
I have not participated in research yet. However, I am emailing a couple professors as well as talking to a couple of friends who are involved in research that I am very interested in and want to try and get into the labs. So I do have a little bit more time, and I am going to try and get involved in research this quarter. But I know that UCSC is a place that welcomes undergraduates into research and labs. So I know that for sure I will be able to find something, which is really nice.
Can you talk about the labs that are exciting to you that you're interested in joining?
Yeah. So there is one lab at Coastal Science Campus, and they actually have an on-site veterinary team. And since I want to go to veterinary school, I'm also thinking about veterinary research as well. And so having an on-site veterinary team, since you work with so many animals, is something that I would really, really love just to like observe and look at and help out with. And they deal with a lot of sea lions as well. So that's what they're primarily researching is sea lions, and they go out into the field and deal with animals almost every single day, which is basically exactly what I'm looking for. I would like to be able to participate in a lab that is basically doing research out in the field with animals, and to have that on-site veterinary team there and basically people with that much knowledge. It would just be really cool to be a part of something that encompasses all of that. But I have had some other really cool professors who do in-lab research. One of my professors for organic chemistry, Professor Raskatov, he actually is an expert in chirality, and he's currently studying Alzheimer's as well in his lab.
Very cool.
Yeah. And do we have...
Yeah, any questions, you guys? Who's joined our live? What do you want to know about UC Santa Cruz?
I was gonna pick up like something.
Do you want to talk about how you've made friends and made community here in Santa Cruz?
Should we move out of the center?
Yeah.
Just to make sure we don't have like
before the phone doesn't set on fire.
Yeah, so the phone doesn't overheat. Exactly. So I made friends here at UC Santa Cruz basically by joining clubs. For example, I made a lot of friends by joining UCSC Women's Club Soccer, as well as joining all the other clubs that I'm a part of. I also made friends just by meeting people within my residential college and meeting people in my classes. Basically every single class that I've been in, I've always tried to get people's numbers and make friends, especially to make study groups, because I think study groups are something that are very valuable and are very valuable just to have, especially in larger classes, because then you have someone that you're able to study with, that you're able to talk to and talk about the material with, just to make sure that you have a good understanding of it. So I've made friends in classes, in clubs, in my residential college. The people who I live with now, how I met them, we actually met the people that I currently live with.
To join a sport, we start with clubs, question mark?
So we have several different types of sports here at UCSC. We have our NCAA Division III teams, and these compete on a more national level. And then we also have our competitive club sports, as well as our intramural sports. We have both non-competitive and competitive club sports. So there are quite a couple of different clubs / sports that students are able to join in. If you want to compete on a more national level, you're able to try out / communicate with the NCAA Division III team's coaches. And so that's how you would be able to participate in that. A couple of sports that we have within our NCAA Division III teams include soccer, basketball, and volleyball. And then our competitive club sports also has rugby, soccer, and volleyball as well. And then our non-competitive club sports, I know that we have kayaking, we also have we have kayaking, surfing, and cheerleading. And for intramural sports so these are played against other people on campus, so you'll play against other peers. And they do basically a bunch of rounds of intramural sports. So they have soccer, they have volleyball intramural, they have basketball intramurals, and you're able to create a team with your friends and then go up against other teams as well here on campus. And I have heard that is a lot of fun to participate in as well.
How do you make community during COVID?
I think now what I've seen mostly, other new freshmen and new incoming students, what they've been doing is they've been going to a lot of events that we have hosting. And these events do follow COVID regulations, as well as wearing a mask, basically doing a symptom checker to make sure that you're symptom free as well. So I know that a lot of students have been going to those different events that we've been holding. So for example, tonight at our Quarry Amphitheater, we're actually going to be having a silent disco. So that's an example of one of the ways to build community through COVID, is just to go to events and meet new people, be outgoing and introduce yourself. For Zoom classes, you can always meet new people. I think one of the best ways for Zoom classes would be joining tutoring, small group tutoring and stuff like that. That's one of the ways that I've been able to make community during COVID, especially in my larger classes, and how I've been able to find study groups is by going and joining tutoring programs such as ACE or MSI, especially since a lot of times we'll end up exchanging numbers and then you meet new people through those other people, and that's just one of the ways of how you can build a little bit more community within your classes.
Which dining hall has Hershey's syrup for milk?
I'm not actually sure which dining hall has Hershey's syrup for milk.
If that's important to you, maybe you should bring your own.
Intentions, so you might have your best bet going there.
That's some good advice.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm moving around because the phone's getting hot.
Oh, it's okay. It's a hot day.
It is a hot day. It's still pausing. What do y'all want to know about UC Santa Cruz before we sign off? Any questions? We've got a very knowledgeable tour guide here to answer anything you've got about campus.
Anything you want to know at all.
Campus. How long to get to classes in time since it's such a long walk?
So, a lot of times, most of the time if you walk fast, in your classes across campus, it'll take you 15 minutes max. However, during a normal walk, sometimes going to class can take you upwards of 20 to 25 minutes depending on where you are. To evaluate whether or not you have enough time to get from point A to point B. I know that I've had classes before that's taken me 7 minutes to walk to class, 2 minutes to walk to class. I had a class that was literally right outside my door of my residential college, but I've also had a class that was a 15-minute walk away. So it really just depends on where your class is located, since our classrooms are scattered across campus as well as in different residential colleges and different academic divisions as well.
How do you choose your college affiliation?
So when students are accepted to UCSC, they rank their top 5 college choices out of the 10. And about 83% of students do get their first college choice. Usually students pick their residential college based on location, based on college theme, or every single college has its own garden as well as advising office and housing department. So it does feel like its own small little community. So a really great way to pick, or a really great way that most students pick, is just by going and taking like mini tours online of the colleges. That's what I did when I chose Cruz College. And then the college's themes are only actually dove into during your core course, which is basically just a course that all freshmen take during their first quarter here at UCSC, and that course is just used to help develop your reading and analysis skills to a college level academics and just help you adjust to the college environment. So we really like to just emphasize that picking your college isn't based on major. No college is based on major here. You can be any major at all and in any residential college. I'm a biology major. However, my college, Cruz College, we actually house the literature department. And all of my friends that I've met at Cruz College, none of them, I only know 2 literature majors. So it really goes to show that your residential college is not major based.
Any tips when moving into the dorm?
I say just keep an open mind. When moving in, you are going to be living with other people. A lot of times, students have never lived with anyone else. They've never had a roommate before. So just keep an open mind and make sure to have good communication is one of the really big things, is having good communication with your housemates, with your roommate, or with your roommates. Communication is a really big thing to have in between you and the other people that you're living with.
Awesome. Dorm style or apartment suite? Is that asking about preference, I assume?
I'll talk about the dorm configurations that we have. So currently we have singles, doubles, and triples. Triples are our most common form of housing here at UCSC, so most students do live in triples on campus. We also, during normal times, have both quints and quads as well. However, these dorms are very, very large. We know that there are a lot of people in them, but they are gigantic. They are huge. So there are different dorm configurations, and then for apartments are only for continuing students unless you live at Cruz College. However, that is going to be changing within the next few years because Cruz College is currently going through construction/renovation. So where now they are going to have dorms for freshmen instead of all apartments. So it's going to be a little bit different. But the apartments have a living room, a bathroom, a little kitchen area, as well as a little dining room area too. And then they also have all the little dorms within it as well. And each residential college, the architecture for each one is different. So it's really cool to go online and look up the different apartment styles and different dorm styles because they do all look different from one another.
Okay. Any other questions? Are there age restrictions for apartments? I saw one was 23.
Okay. I'm gonna move into. So we have a transfer community. We have a transfer community in Redwood Grove as well as UTC. UTC is our University Town Center. It is off-campus housing for both continuing students and transfer students. The one specifically that you're talking about would be Redwood Grove. Redwood Grove Apartments houses transfer students who are 23 and up.
That makes sense. Yeah, so it's really just whatever you feel most comfortable in. Yeah. Other questions? Living, dining, student life.
Anything at all.
Big love for Redwood Grove from Irma. Thanks, Irma.
Yeah. And then usually here, if there were to be clubs having tabling events, usually they're here at the Quarry Plaza. However, there aren't any currently happening.
Where's the Quarry Amphitheater?
The Quarry Amphitheater, it's all the way down that way. It is past Aveda, and there are a set of stairs. There are 2 sets of stairs. There's one on your right, and then there's one on your left. So the Quarry Amphitheater is going up the stairs on your left.
Where's Sammy?
Sammy. That's a great question. It actually hasn't rained in a while. So our mascot does live here on campus, and we do have several of them around. When it rains, it's really great because they'll come out and they'll be on the path, and you kind of got to be careful not to squish any of them, those little guys walking across the path. But since it hasn't rained in a little while, we haven't actually seen any Sammies out as of late. But once it rains and once it gets a little bit more wet, a banana slug on the way to one of your classes or one of your finals or midterms.
Pause for a second. Should we bring a car as a junior or just bike/walk?
Really, it's up to you. So here on campus, we do have parking, and parking pass is available for students as well. However, you do have to have either junior or senior standing in order to buy a parking pass on campus. They do sell out quickly, so I would say if you do want to bring your car with you, get a parking pass as soon as you are able to, / as soon as they open up. And I will say that it is very possible to get around campus without a car. I did it my freshman year, and it is really easy to get around Santa Cruz by using the metro buses, as well as using other car services such as Zipcar, which is basically a car rental service for students, and students are able to rent cars by the hour or by the day using Zipcar. So it really is up to you, your own personal preference. I will say if you are planning on driving home, if you live relatively close, if you plan on driving home for holidays or weekends and stuff, then I would recommend bringing a car, just because it would be kind of hard to find a ride every time you wanted to go back home or to have someone come and pick you up. But I will say, just getting around Santa Cruz in general, it is very easy to do so through our metro buses.
Will the school offer transportation to San Jose Airport for Thanksgiving or Christmas break?
I'm not sure if I don't think we other students post on there where they're going, if they're going up to San Jose, if they're going up to San Jose Airport, and students are able to basically say, hey, and you're able to get a ride with them as well. And there are other transportation options for students to take advantage of as well to get to the San Jose Airport. A really popular one is the 17 bus. The 17 bus goes from here, from our metro station that's over in San Jose as well, and then from there you're either able to take another bus, or you're able to take a short Uber ride to the airport.
Awesome. All right, any other questions about campus, admissions, being a tour guide, being a student, how to find community?
Any questions at all? I'm more than happy to answer.
Yeah. Last questions, get them in now. Do you want to tell them where we are again before we sign
I
off?
can give a quick little overview again of where we currently are. We're currently at our quarry. It is basically your hub of campus, the most central part of campus. It is your go-to place for both tabling events and hanging out with friends, or even getting coffee and ramen as well. So we also have our ethnic resource centers that are housed here as well within our quarry amphitheater. We also have our express store right on over here. I like to say it's basically our on-campus 7-Eleven. It's like a mini grocery store / convenience store. You're able to go there if you need coffee, if you need ramen noodles, basically any type of convenience store type of item that you can think of. And it's really great, especially if you're going to class and you need a little bit of caffeine before getting there. And then going down this way, right by our express store, is our bookstore as well. Our bookstore is where you go for all of your collegiate gear / Sammy the Slug slippers. Basically anything that you want that says UC Santa Cruz on it, you can get it there. And you can also buy books for classes there as well. And another really important thing that they have there is if you lose your ID, you're actually able to get a new one on the second floor. And then right on over there is our Cafe Aveda. This is one of our most loved cafes on campus, and it is the only place that serves boba here on campus as well. And then right over here we have SOAR / SUA. SOAR is organizations here on our campus. SUA stands for Student Union Assembly, and it is our campus-wide student government as well. And then right on over here we have our Redwood building, and it houses E-Squared, which is our retention services as well as our bike co-op. Our bike co-op is where you go. You're able to go there and get your bike fixed, and you don't actually pay for the cost of labor. You only pay for the cost of parts.
That's awesome. Is there fun stuff to do downtown?
There is fun stuff to do downtown. Downtown does have many events. I think the one that just passed was Downtown Day, where there was a bunch of vendors and a bunch of promotion for to go and get to know downtown better and what local shops and local stores are there and are locally owned as well. We have more to do downtown as well. I'm pretty sure we have an escape room somewhere downtown that students are able to participate in, which is a really fun thing to do with friends. We also have the beach, which is a short bus ride away, as well as the Santa Cruz Boardwalk. So there are quite a few things to do in the Santa Cruz area besides just going downtown or staying on campus and going for hikes.
There's asking if there's going to be more lives, more Instagram lives.
Yeah, there are going to be several more Instagram lives. Definitely keep an eye out for them throughout the month of October. I know we have a couple more coming up next week as well.
Yeah, look at the events page on the admissions website. They're all listed there too. Where's the best place to get coffee on campus?
Best place to get coffee. I will say Aveda does have some pretty good coffee, is from what I've heard. A really popular one as well is Pete's Coffee, and Pete's Coffee actually has a lot of different options for students. I know it is definitely one of the favorites here on campus would be Pete's Coffee, and they have a lot of little kiosks outside of lecture halls as well for students to get just a quick coffee before lecture or after lecture, especially if you have an early 8 a.m. lecture.
Is Aveda open?
Aveda is not currently open, unfortunately. We're hoping that it does open up soon, however.
Yeah, watch the dining website for the what's open when. They're pretty good about updating that. Any other questions about campus, student life, academics, admissions? I know you're sad, Irma. It'll open soon. All right, guys. Any last questions? We're about to wrap it up. You've got a wonderfully knowledgeable tour guide here, third-year student. Is there, urgent care on campus?
We do have a student health center for students to utilize here on campus. It is located close to colleges 9 and 10, and students with UC SHIP have access to that student health care service as well. They have both healthcare services as well as ecological services, and I'm pretty sure they have a mini urgent care type of thing, because I do have a friend who has used it before.
Perfect.
And any other questions about campus or anything you want to know?
This is your time. Real life student. Ready to answer. We've got a couple folks here. If you have questions, get them in now. All right. Aw, thanks, Irma. She said you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yeah, so do you want to do a little sign off? And just...
Yeah, I can do. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the class, have interest in it, and just want to know more. We love educating you about our campus and telling you more about it. So one of our favorite things to do as a tour guide is probably answer questions and tell people more about our campus as well. If you have any...
We did get 2 more questions. Sorry, yeah. Best places to study?
Best places to study here on campus. My personal favorite is the S&E Library. We do have 2 libraries here on campus. We have our Mchenry Library, which is our bigger library, and we have our Science and Engineering Library. I just like the Science and Engineering Library because it's more of a collaborative environment. There's more movement happening, and even though I wear soundproof headphones when I study, I still like to have a little bit of commotion happening around me, so that's one of the reasons why I like the S&E Library. They also have a really pretty place that I like to sit that just has pictures of the solar system. So I enjoyed going there to study.
And then just personally, how has your quarter been so far?
So far, it's been going. It's been pretty good so far. Adjusting back to a couple of in-person classes, but so far those have been going really well, and I've been enjoying all my professors. And I got a couple of really good professors this year who are really cool and are very, very knowledgeable. So
Awesome. You're welcome for doing this live session. Join us another time in October. Check out the calendar. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time on another one of our live sessions.
Awesome.